Welcome to Naturally Aggressive, episode number 30.
30, wow. That's crazy.
Insanity.
Absolute insanity. This is Max. Max is staying for a couple weeks while his owner's out of town. Original day-to-day fans may know him as the Crystal Meth Raccoon. But this dog's responsible for my career, largely. Still waiting for that emotional fallout, aggression resurfacing. But I wanted to start the show with some negativity. I think we're due for some. Coming off the KD episode, which people really enjoyed, which means we do need to do another one, and we will, maybe in like a couple months or something, once more topics have accumulated. But I've got people send me some screenshots from Reddit. I haven't really made a secret of it that I'm making a little bit of a project of trying to track down former clients of like the most popular force-free trainers. And this is pretty much like the perfect example of the brainwashing and the mass manipulation that's going on.
Max is leaning on your mic.
Oh shit. Is this okay? Was he like scruffing up against it? Was it making like static noise? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we've talked about this a little bit before about the sort of sort of like the. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
I mean, I can set him down. Sorry, boy. Sorry. You're killing me. Oh, I'm sorry. Sort of how bad trainers are able to get away with being really bad, but still having everyone be like, you're great. This is an example of a failed client that still thinks Shikashio is like the greatest. And it's like a crazy document. I may end up posting it. It's on Reddit. But the thread is called "My Dog Is Not a Good Dog." And we are at our wit's end, and it's on r/reactive dogs. And this is from a few years ago. r/reactive dogs is one of the most horrifying online communities that I've ever seen. It's a total Lima force-free cesspit. And it's basically just a community of people convincing each other to kill each other's dogs. It's like actually like demonic. Anyways, so this thread, wife and I have had this dog for almost 5 years. He was amazing. We made a move halfway across the country, and now he's become extremely aggressive and reactive. We can't touch him anymore. He started biting. He's bitten me numerous times. He's bitten my wife, my brother, my dad. Jesus Christ. So then this is where it gets interesting. We hired Michael Shikashio, who is literally the best dog behaviorist in the world. Brought him to the behavioral vets in New York City to get a full medical screening, of course. Got him medicated for anxiety, worked with him tirelessly to the point where we could even try to pet him again, and we still can't. He was diagnosed with owner-directed aggression. Is everyone following the story so far?
Interesting.
Many such cases. We've been living like this for over 3 years. Our mental health have suffered. It's stressful to walk around the house. He growls at us. He snaps and bites. It's without warning. His medication is very expensive. We don't know what to do. Blah, blah, blah. I'm afraid of him. How did Michael Shikashio help you besides recommending all the tests? Did he give you better training strategies? This is someone responding. Hard to imagine that the trainer, blah, blah, blah. Michael gave us a bunch of things to try with him. We maintained regular contact with him for a year. We are currently at 1 year with no bites, but that's because we don't touch him at all. He snapped at me without warning when I tried to take his leash off last month. I've rigged up a special leash that can be removed without even having to bend down. Michael was intrigued because this is happening without warning. He'll snap if you even reach near him.
If you're sitting, without warning.
Right. If I'm sitting on the end of the couch and he comes and sits on the arms rest, I can't reach for anything on the table. He went on Prozac, which did nothing. He's been on Clomicalm for almost 3 years, and it's over $100 for 60 pills. At the time when we had worked with Michael, he told us we should reward any positive responses from him, walk up to him and treat him if he made eye contact and looked happy. Worked on petting him for 3 seconds to see if he wanted more. We've essentially been in training mode for 3 years, and it's hard to remember all of the other steps we've taken. At this point, if I touch him even unexpectedly, it's a 50-50 chance he's going to bite me. And then this is the cherry on top. We're getting towards the end here. We would absolutely never use a shock collar. Michael said that he would get worse and become even more of a shell of who he used to be.
Wow.
This guy spoke at the
Get
IACP.
worse.
This guy spoke at the IACP last year, by the way. This guy was invited to speak at the IACP last year. Okay.
Yeah,
We
this
can't
is a
even
lot of
touch him.
negativity. God damn it.
He doesn't wear. I know. This is just. I'm telling you, Michael Shikashio is a bad person, dude. Like I don't know what to tell you. People need to fucking wake up. It doesn't matter if someone's nice while they're being terrible, dude. Like
Rex, yeah,
telling you,
scammed him
like,
for.
he's a horrible person. The other problem is we can't touch him. He doesn't wear a collar. We'd never be able to put a collar on him unless he was sedated. Okay. So then the final post was they had the dog put down. So that
and honestly, can't even blame the owners. They reached out for professional help.
Oh yeah,
like that's the maddening part about it.
They've been totally brainwashed, and sort of the thing. Like, there's a lot of standouts. We hired Michael Shikashio, who is literally the best dog behaviorist in the world. So how in a world? So we know that Michael Shikashio is a coward. He's a snake. He's afraid of dogs. He likely, as far as I can tell, has never trained a dog in his entire life. You can find more footage of him with stuffed animals than you can with living dogs. I've talked to numerous people who've done his webinars, his courses. He stands behind a gate and looks away and throws food over the dog's head, and the dog runs and gets it and comes like that. This is the extent. That's why he doesn't show the work. There is no work. But how does a family like this end up hiring him under the impression that he's literally the best dog behaviorist in the world? Right. The reason why that this is able to happen, and it happens on a regular basis, and these people are like Shikashios are able to profiteer from it, is because everyone lies and no one questions. So there is, like, Shikashio up until now has never faced a, hey, prove it. Right. So for people that are like the Susan Garrett, oh, so I show cases, then what? This is what? Dumbass. So this doesn't happen to people. Holy shit. So yeah, if this family is looking for an aggression specialist and they pull up a clip of Michael Shikashio getting his fucking ass whooped while he's holding one of his binders and he's screaming, then yeah, they're not going to hire that F slur. So just back to this, okay? By the way, spoke at the IACP last year. Open-minded. We're all open-minded, right? Like, that's great. We definitely should be in the business of not only tolerating these people, but actively promoting them. Like, how many balanced trainers, like newer impressionable balanced trainers, saw that he was at the IACP and went and bought his dog shit courses? You're putting money into the pockets of people that are saying things like, we would never use a shock collar. Michael said that he would get worse and become even more of a shell of what he used to be. So the dog, they haven't been able to touch the dog in 3 years, right? They've been doing all of Michael's strategies for 3 years. And then the dog is killed after they live in fear for 3 years. Shikashio saying, well, you should never use a shock collar because it'll make him worse. And now the dog's dead. And
that's a success story.
Right. So they walk away being like, man, yeah, Michael, oh, he's just a great guy. But he successfully, and this is what the Force Reset has done, they've successfully inoculated their clients against reality. So that they create this like echo chamber where it's like, no, anything outside of you and me is just inherently off limits. It's inherently bad. Right.
And that putting a dog down is not a failure.
Right.
Like, and that doesn't mean that failure has never happened in Balanced World either.
Correct.
But that's a data point that you have to pay attention. Like, that's not a positive outcome, no matter how you package it.
Right.
But it's packaged into a positive outcome, and people believe that it's a positive outcome because it's like, oh, the dog's quality of life was so bad. And like, objectively, it was for sure.
Right.
But like, it will be looked at as a merciful quality of life decision.
Right.
without having tried. And again, like if that's the conclusion that like has to be come to, like again, the whole caveat of like we're not saying behavioral euthanasia is ever off the table, quality of life decisions are real, yada yada yada. But I think people understand the point that I'm trying to make around all of that is that it was counted as a win to put the dog down, having not used a shock collar. Like
Right.
that's the
Yes.
problem.
Yes. That's credit. That's credit to them. Like that's a feather. Like that's a feather in Shikashio's cap. You guys wouldn't believe this crazy aggression case that I worked with. And yeah, the dog was put down, but like we did look at all this cool stuff.
Correct. We tried everything. Yeah.
Right. We tried
Yeah.
everything. That does anybody think that in this case they tried everything? Does anybody think that for real?
Oh
Like
yeah,
I would
people
love
do.
to, like in the
Oh, for
comments.
sure, people do.
Like I would love.
Everybody does. I
And
mean, not everybody, right? Like, but that's people buy that line of
Right.
we tried everything without because
Right.
they just go everything under force free, but
Right.
anything outside of that, like back to the nothing is valid outside.
So like this guy should be afraid to show his face in any dog training community. Like this is like evil, as far as I am concerned. This is evil, and he does it with a yes, I'm just like, people think he's endearing. I think he's a fucking twerp and a pussy, and obviously a liar. And
Yeah.
again, like you said, that's not to say that there is no end state with actual dog trainers where dogs get put down. That happens, but it's like, dude, we exhaust all options. So, see, you would have to say that they tried everything. You would have to agree to the premise that using a shock collar, using aversives, or using some sort of penalties with this dog is a fate worse than death, because you pulled the death trigger before you used an aversive. So you would have to agree to that premise. Otherwise, Shikashio's a bad person. So it's like you actually just have to do one of those two. It's not a false choice. Like there's actually no other logical. Like that's just like I think a good moral test for a dog trainer or a dog professional. It's like, can you simultaneously believe Michael Shikashio and his ilk? He's just the one that I'm bullying because it's fucking funny and he deserves it, and things are going to get really bad for him in the near future, unfortunately. I'm going to be doing a deep dive. To see what's going on behind the curtain over there. But how could you simultaneously think that Shikashio was unjustified in how he handled this dog who ended up dying, but also he's just like a cool dude that's like super open-minded? That's the thing too. It's that oftentimes these force-free types are seen as open-minded. Dude, we would never use a shock collar. Michael said it would make him a shell of who he used to be. It's like, dude, how is that open-minded? How about Shaquille Yourself-EO does one of his phone consults and goes, actually, I can't do anything about this. I'm going to send you to a TWC trainer. And then at that point, he should publicly disavow anything he's ever said about behavioral issues ever. But obviously that would require him to like not be a snake. Even then, he shouldn't be forgiven for the damage he's caused. And he's benefited from. He took these people's money to not try everything and tell them that they tried everything.
Yep.
And the dog's dead. So I guess last thing on this. I mean, obviously, if you have more you want to give, to me, it's not a really nuanced. Like, it's not like a moral quandary. Like, this is obvious. Like, who's a good guy and bad guy in the situation? Does anybody think that the dog would be worse off if he had come to me? Like,
it can't really get any worse than that, to be honest.
Anybody, right. But
you can't even touch the dog. Like,
right.
It's so hilarious about that particular case.
Right.
Like,
right.
What do you have to lose?
Bad as it gets, typically.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even go near the dog. He has no collar on because I can't put a fucking leash on him. Like, and they've been living like this for years. It's actually hard to imagine a worse way for a dog and owners to live. So,
and again, what's super telling about that, right? They can't get a leash on him. That means there's no way they've tried everything, right? Because you can't put a fucking leash on the dog. Like, what training are you doing? You're left with
You're doing
passing
fucking nothing.
treats
You're
and
doing fucking.
bribery.
And I think that there's part of the owners are subconsciously covering for Shikashio here when they say it's
Oh,
hard.
absolutely. You
It's hard.
have to.
It's hard to remember the steps. It's like, well, you just very vividly recalled that he told you to treat him anytime he looked at you.
Yep.
So that's the only reason why you can't remember the other steps is because probably that was the only
There
step.
weren't any. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like what's really sad about this is the owners like, you have to have this sort of protective mechanism because if you
Guilt.
yeah, like that's a brutal truth to live with that
Right.
this
I could have done more, but I was deceived by the person
correct
they hired to help.
correct by the person that was supposed to help me. Yeah.
That's
That's brutally sad.
yeah, and it does ultimately become a situation where it can very easily be perceived by the victim. I think the owners are the victim in this situation as them being bullied. But it's like they've been manipulated, dude. Like that's these people are predators, and they're really really good at hunting people and predating. And also too, remember they're in an emotionally shattered position already. That actually makes it more gross. Is that these people are basically in a state of defeat, and they're looking for anything to help. And then you get this little pride flag slur that slithers in and I would love that. Like the thing that I would want to ask these people is what was the opening pitch? Like what did he say you were going to shoot for? Because like does he even say we're going to try to fix it? Is what I'm wondering. Or if he right out of the gate is just like we're going to try to make life more tolerable. Or like we're going to try to avoid the problem. Like I do wonder what I would love. Like a dream of mine has
Oh
been
yeah, fly on the wall for
to
this
have an
shit.
anonymous phone call even and be like, hi Mikey, I'm fucking, I took Susan Garrett's retarder course and I thought it was great and she said you're awesome, so let's oh cool. I've actually been known to, you're gonna laugh, but I've been known to fix aggression over the phone. Like I would love to have that conversation with him and just like hear what his pitch is.
What's really interesting about this particular case too is it sounds like the dog was pretty good for the first 5 years of its life or whatever it
1.5
was.
years, no problems.
Yep.
So clearly there's at least like in our stance, the dog is proven to be able to be a good dog for a long period of time.
Correct. Like this isn't, you can't even use the excuse of like genetics are just fucked up.
Right.
I did a full health workup, didn't find anything. Okay. Like
yeah, you did all of the chicken shit. Nah, you know how I feel about that.
no, but like it leaves them with no excuse. Like that's like do the health workup.
Well, no, he's been
you didn't find anything. So now what?
He's been diagnosed with what they call it.
Owner directed aggression. Yep.
Yeah. Like what if we punish? You fucking pieces of shit. To punish the dog. Hey, dude, stop. We don't do that. Oh, it can't off limits kill. Like that to me, it's I don't even want to hear from a force-free advocate on this because I think they're subhuman and shouldn't have civil rights. I would love to hear from a balanced trainer that's like, maybe putting dogs in the car isn't that bad. Like, I would love to hear from those types of people, like what they have to say about this. Because it's like, I know that you have some sort of weird emotional allegiance to these. It's Stockholm syndrome, unfortunately. You have some sort of like weird emotional allegiance to these people that hate us and hate how we train. But, and I know that it makes you really uncomfortable that I will attack ruthlessly these horrible villains. But really, you have a choice. Just take an aggression case. And I know you hate me. Again, it's a good moral test. You fucking hate me because I'm mean to this little Pride Month slur. The dog can go to
a snake. It fits.
The dog, right? The dog can go to him or go to me. What are you picking, and why? Why? Like, I would genuinely want to know the reasons why, because they are going to pick me, right? They're going to pick. They would rather the dog go to me, and now we can have a dog training discussion as it's meant to be. Like, who has more evidence? Who has a better track record? Like, who is actually doing things? That's where the conversation is supposed to be. So shit like this doesn't happen to people and doesn't happen to dogs. It's just so fucking ridiculous. I'm sure, like, I really, when I've got the time, I'm going to open the floodgates on Shikashio and I'm going to try to track down a bunch of his old clients. go digging around and see what I can find about this guy. Unfortunately, with him, like he is so good at becoming people's friends as he scams them that people may be embarrassed or hesitate. But yeah, that'll
Well,
be
what's extremely hard about this stuff too is it takes a certain type of person and situation, and like really the stars have to align. Like imagine this client, like I think it almost borders on, like it would feel slightly cruel to me to tell them like you know what I mean, that like, oh, you could
yeah,
have actually tried this, and like
right,
show them the results with similar dogs.
right.
um that would be very, I don't know, like psyche
No,
shattering
no, that's what I was
to a
getting
point.
at
So
earlier.
like what's tricky is that you have to find someone who has sort of woken up on their own and seen it and made the decision to kind of shift without outside, like you can't do that for them basically, which like I know, but like that makes it very difficult to find
Yeah.
a sample size
Well, that's
of
kind
these
of what I was
clients. But
getting at earlier was that you start to border on this being perceived as bullying. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
unfortunately. So it
because
would
again
have to
like
be
it's not the owner's fault, like it's they're victims of the machine, unfortunately.
you would have to intercept with a dog that hasn't been killed yet.
Correct, yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
that'd be pretty crazy. What else do we
Well,
have
and
to talk
like it would
about?
be interesting to see, like, to be fair, and then also ask for where the dogs that are the success stories of owners that are like say they're happy, and just look at like what the endpoint is. Like
Oh yeah, that
how much
actually would
management
be
is still left, or is the dog actually
that would be
living
probably
to the
as an
standard?
equivalent data point for us to really interact with the problem is that like the people that think they're in a success state, where did they
Yes,
actually get to? And
correct.
there may be some people, like let's say that we have a system where I don't know, fucking we make sure all the gates are kept locked. And if he starts barking, we know he'll bite, but we can throw a treat over there and he goes. If people are happy with that, I would want to hear that too.
Hmm. Yep.
Right? And maybe you don't care. Maybe it doesn't need to go beyond that. But I think more likely than not, kind of what you're hinting at is that people are still living on pins and needles with no answers in a desperate
Correct.
state, like in a perpetual we'll
Well, and
keep
even
working on it.
like it doesn't even have to go that far, right? Like even that example of like throw the treat over the fence when he is being aggressive and he stops, and people are legitimately totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I think we can still look at that and be like, is that actually an end state that we're happy with as the
Right.
standard for the industry? Like just because the client is happy, is that what we're willing to accept as the end point? Well, like that's again like what happens when you start showing work. Like we can start comparing and being like,
Well,
what do we actually want to see?
this is sort of the thing that they don't want you to know. And it's something I've been told. Again, this is alleged, all right? But this is from I've got multiple people now that I've talked to that have been through his like behind the big paywall, right? Where he has all the stuff that he talks about. Like, yeah. Um Allegedly, none of the dogs are aggressive. They're not aggressive. They're just like barking and nipping. And it's like there's Shikashio behind the gate throwing food, and it's like, look, he stopped when I threw the food. It's like, yeah, the dog wasn't aggressive, dude. Like, so that's another huge problem for them, and it's something that I've predicted when the force free side decides, okay, we actually are like they have daggers and they're pushing us into a corner. We need to start showing work. They're never like the work is going to be fraudulent, but also they are never going to demonstrate that any of the dogs ever had substantial issues to begin with. So they're just going to be like, this is my prediction. It's going to be like a totally normal dog standing outside of a dog park on a harness and a pink long line. And the guy's going to be throwing food on the ground and the dog's just going to be moping around eating the food in the dirt. And then they're going to be like, look at this crazy work. It's like, but you never this just looks like a lazy fucking bored dog that doesn't want to be there.
And what happens when you actually go in the dog park without food?
Right.
Like,
Right.
what again, like that
Right.
example of the dog barking behind the fence at a stranger. What happens if the stranger walks in? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Well, that so check this out too. You actually just reminded me of something that makes me really upset. What are the chances that Shikashio ever interacted with this dog?
pretty low.
Probably
Well,
0%.
because I was gonna ask, is he in New York? Does he
I,
live in California? I
I
have
have
no
I
idea.
have no idea where he is. But like
Yeah,
let's
Google
assume
that
that
quick.
let's assume we'll talk. It doesn't even need to be this dog, but like any given client dog that he's working with, is he ever like actually like having moments with the dog? No, there's no way. And like the entire point is interactivity, but whatever. Everything's a conditioning game and a redirection scheme and it's just it's so embarrassing. And they're able to because they're so bad at training and they don't think about training, they're able to put all their effort and their creativity into marketing. So they're able to just repackage the same just I mean a lot of balanced people do this too, just like the same nonsense busy work. And people just they fall for it. But again, that speaks to the state of the industry. That speaks to the stagnation, the lack of questioning, people not taking leaders to account. Everyone being afraid to show their work. It's all connected, and it really sucks. But again, like that in a just world, like this doesn't happen. And maybe that dog does end up getting put down, but the family wouldn't have been dragged on for fucking 3 years doing nothing and then being like, "Oh, we tried it all with the trainer." It's like, no, you didn't fucking try anything, dude. There's no way. This is a good like, just think
And he
about.
does. Google says he does operate out of New England, Connecticut area.
Interesting. Okay, I
However,
mean,
his private client consultations are largely booked out or unavailable, as his primary focus is now on international teaching workshops and his aggressive dog master course. That was just a little AI response, but
yeah, another seminar workshop wizard that doesn't fucking train dogs. Talk.
right.
Fucking sick of these guys, dude. Holy shit. It's just
Anyway, sorry, I cut you off, but I did.
no,
just
that's good.
wanted to look
That's
that
good.
up, but
That's good. No, that's good context. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know I train dogs every day. You train dogs every day. The people that we like train dogs every day. I don't know. Like the industry leaders don't train dogs. How is that possible? None of these people train dogs. And then it starts to make sense when it's like, okay, you're going to all these events and you're doing all this. When do you have time to take client dogs? It's because they don't take client dogs. Just imagine if the IACP was run by people that were like actually on the ground training dogs. You know, that'd be a cool thing. There's been, speaking of which, briefly to move from one depressing thing to another depressing thing, as far as I can tell, there's been no repercussions for the IACP director of education non-contingently e-collar stemming a freaked out muzzle dog into urinating herself. There hasn't been, and then him posting that video proudly saying he doesn't care about how the dog's reacting. As far as I can tell, there has been no wider conversation or movement on that topic. That guy's just going to continue. And again, this guy isn't like cleaning the floors over there. He's the director of education. Yeah. If you haven't seen that, go to my Facebook. Or you could just go to Antonio Diaz's social, like look at any of the dogs he's training. They all look terrible, but that one in particular stood out. It makes me, again, like if I had the sanity and the time to spare, I would do a dive on him and just scroll and see what, like if he's showing that, I wonder if there's any, there must be more. It's just garbage. No repercussions, just no repercussions. Could you just imagine if it was me, dude? Just fucking imagine if it was me. Just pinning a dog in place and wailing on her until she pissed herself and then showing no follow-up with the dog. Could you imagine what would happen to me? The IACP would make a video about me. Condemning me. We don't even have to do a thought experiment. The same dude tried dragging that trainer who already made a statement about it.
Correct.
They're doing this in broad daylight, dude. It's broad daylight.
Mm, yep.
Anyways, um, so all right,
Jamie.
yeah, the black pilled segment's out of the way. Um, people send me so many negative things. It's crazy. My inbox is constantly blowing up with like, dude, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Um, it's always bad. So sometimes it's like, see what this guy's saying about you, and it's like, okay, I'm just not going to look at that. Or like, oh, this guy made a video. But it's like, okay, dude, whatever. Like people making videos about me every day. But then it'll be a mixture of this dog dies tomorrow afternoon unless you personally do something about it, or check out this person fucking this dog up or fucking these clients over. And I'm like, dude, it's just constant,
It's
constant.
exhausting.
We have does anybody have anything good going on? I'm using a webcam and a microphone, so I don't have to rely on my Wi-Fi anymore. That's kind of cool.
Love that. Love that.
Uh, so now it's kind of like a real program, you know.
Yes. Yeah, very official.
But you have dog training going on, or did you want me to go first, or did you want to talk about any of your private lessons or anything? Because we've been talking off show quite a bit about some of the dogs that you have going and the things you're up to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know like what parts are particularly interesting. I think potentially what we were talking about offline with the German Shepherd, where a lot of her behaviors were not driven by like the trigger itself, and more like the overall relationship to her caregivers. Like that could potentially be an interesting thread to go down, that like I didn't actually, and I like felt weird that I hadn't actually been able to address a lot of her problems, because she just didn't show them with me,
Wasn't doing them
because
with
I
you.
fixed
Yeah.
the relationship. Yeah. Like fix some other baseline mental shifts, but then like did the same with the owners. And she hasn't gone home yet, but I do like a 4-week lesson and then a 6-week lesson, and then go home in 8 weeks for my B mods.
Yep.
Did the 4-week lesson, just had them do obedience with her, and they did great. 6-week lesson, went to their house, and one of the couple of the things she struggles with, they live in a neighborhood where there's like, they have a really nice big front yard where like the kids will be out playing, stuff like that. And dogs will walk past, and she'll like rush the dogs, and like get in little kerfuffles with passersby. And she's super dog friendly, like never been concerned, never seen it. And like I've had her with various groups of dogs, and like there's no red flags on any of her behavior. Chooses to play with other dogs, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, I don't think this is like real. Like it's not about the dogs, right? Is a better way to say that. And so I had them kind of set up, having a neighbor walk by. She's just hanging out in the front yard, had her on the long line. And I told them, like, if she rushes, punish. And she like glanced, lifted her tail a little bit, and then was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Total non-issue. Did the same thing with me hiding to make sure like wasn't contingent on me. Same thing, was super
Did you do
good.
the hiding one first or second?
Second, just because I wasn't sure. Like, what was tricky about this entire setup is I'm like, I don't know how bad this could get, because
Yeah.
I haven't been able to draw it out of her. So I was just kind of like, I want her to be the one holding the line first.
Yeah, but here's where you
yeah.
here's where you could have done something different. And this is something that I wasn't able to do with Mowgli, because I do want to connect it to him, because I got some messages about him like an hour ago. A back tie. So you could have had a longer line on back tied,
That's
and the
true.
owners are holding the line. Just on like a flat collar, and then the owners are holding the leash on
Yeah,
the
I did
whatever.
not even think about that. Yeah.
That, because as soon as you unveil yourself, the change is
Yeah.
where it
But
is.
it's hard though too, because like I brought her to their house. Like she knows I'm
Yeah.
there. Like
Yeah,
there's
you have to, like, how far away from them are you?
like 45 minutes.
That's kind of annoying. But I
Yeah,
would
so, like, once she goes home and we do follow-up lessons, like, if this becomes an issue again, like, it'll be much easier to set stuff
yeah,
up, but
you should do just, like, exactly what I did with Mowgli, where it's like I'm hiding in my car down the road,
yeah,
and, like, depending on the owner's competency, you are holding the remote, like, they have the dog inside. So I had Mowgli's owners put him inside in a room with no windows. They come out, we talk over the strategy. They give me the remote. I drive down the road and I'm watching through my windshield, and then have the decoy come out and we deal with it that way. Because what you're saying, where you're just not like, okay, let me connect it to Mowgli quick, okay? Because this
yeah,
is exactly the same thing. So I got a text from Mowgli's owner an hour ago. All week, Mowgli has done so well. Little to no use of the e-collar on walks. We've been working in the front yard with him a lot. He's doing really well. He does do this thing rarely with very certain people where he gets really focused on them and doesn't look at them and doesn't look at me or really listen to me the same. And I end up having to turn him around and walk the other way. I said, "Is he doing this? Is he doing this focus thing on walks or out in the yard or both?" She said, only on walks. He never does it when we're out at parks, so it's only around their neighborhood. And it just seems like random people he gets really locked into as if he's going to react or as if he wants to see them. I'm not sure. We just came back from a walk. We passed 30 something people, and he didn't do it to anyone except this one person. Last night we were sitting on a guardrail. A couple walked by. Couldn't get him to listen to much. He just stared at them until they left. So, like, he'll never do this in front of me. Like, ever. He will never do
yeah,
this in front of me. And if he did, I could stop. Like, I could get his attention in under a second. So this is pretty much, yeah, you have a choice to make. It's like, okay, clearly the behavior, at least in my opinion, isn't really going anywhere. And it's so rare and it's so distinct that they can see it coming and they can just be like, we're just gonna walk away or whatever. But I'm like a completionist on this, so we are going to address it. But it cannot be when I'm anywhere near them. And it's impossible for them to film it because it's totally random. So it really is just a matter of I have to talk to her and like try to get as much information as possible because I know that she's not doing, like, she needs to punish.
yeah, I was gonna say that sounds
She's
like a good
not.
excuse to ask
She's
him to sit, and he
what's
doesn't.
happening with her, she's starting to get scared and she's going back into trying to nag him into obedience, which she knows not to do. And she's extremely competent handling him. So I know I can have a conversation with her and be like, when you get the first signal that he's doing that, like, you can bait it. You can try stepping away, recalling him, and then going right to no whatever. But it's the same. It's the same. It's like where if I were to go over to their house, we're not going to see it, and it's like impossible to fucking set up. And that is just social dynamics. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
There's really nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Other than then she has to fix it. Basically, the owner has to fix it.
Yeah. So yeah, so luckily with that dog ended up because I was like really trying to find excuses for them to punish her because she was almost like being like too good and everything else. And I'm like, yeah, anyway, I just was like, we need to close that loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and finally, like at the end, um, I was like, is there anything else you guys like really want to make sure we do? And so one of the issues is like she's basically like bullies the like somewhat elderly cat. Um and so this is me made a little bit stupid where I felt bad like using the cat as bait and they're like, we just, like we need to yeah. Um so I like had the cat was actually anyway, to back up, so um they had brought the dad was holding the cat, brought it downstairs, just like the poor cat hides. Obviously, when the dog's around, she's been chased so many times. His dad brings the cat down. Dog was getting a little bit agitated, but, like, I think I had them punish a little bit there just to be like, "Hey, you can't," basically, like, "I fucked the cat."
Mhm.
Like, she was going into stalking and, like, again, wasn't anything crazy, but was, like, enough where I was like, "Okay, like, we can punish this," but she stopped pretty quickly, and it wasn't as intense as, like, what they had described it, so I was like, "Okay." Um, and then at the end, the cat actually happened to wander down the stairs and be sitting at the bottom of the stairs as dad was handling the dog a little bit, and cat ran, and Briar went into chase mode and, like, hammered her for that, and the dad did a super, super good job, but ended up, like, getting her to chase, like, one more time. It's really
Mhm.
bad. Again, poor cat, but, like, followed the cat into the closet, and, like, I had dad start to interact with the cat, and, of course, that
Uh-huh.
amped, Briar up again, got another punishment event in. She took it really, really well, because she was a dog that was, like, really stuck in reinforcement loops, um, from some past training, and she's also that type of dog and et cetera, et cetera. But ended up, like, getting a really nice, like, hopefully paradigm shifting punishment event from dad because they definitely have never been able to do that with her before. So anyway, so I'm hoping, like, that's the stuff that's ultimately gonna transfer, right? Just to,
Mhm.
um, close that loop on, like, how do you get a dog, like, why do the dogs act with us a certain way to where you're not gonna see this behavior? How do we transfer that to the owners? And I think there's a very real thing about, like, dogs do know there's a certain, like, line of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things I just can't imagine my own dogs doing, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's because of the fact that they've been raised with a certain freedoms and certain boundaries. And it, like, that's kind of the goal, to transfer that to the owner where it's like, "Hey, you can't go try to kill the cat."
And I think
Um,
I think fulfillment has a role too. I think that,
I think so. Yeah,
like
I
like
think
an
for this
owner,
dog,
like, the chasing the
it's
cats is
yeah.
always going to be more alluring when they're with them versus you because you just play better.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. But I do think, like, she's a pretty easy dog to satiate though. Like, if they play fetch and, like, do some obedience in that fetch and, like, just make it, like, even literally having her just, like, heel around while the toy is on the ground is, like,
Uh-huh.
mentally like, that's enough
Yeah.
for her, and, like, they're very, very willing and capable of doing that. So, like,
Yeah.
I think she actually does and will get quite a bit of fulfillment. I think it was her issue is that she's like, "Oh, I could just constantly appease my way out of any trouble that
Mhm.
I get in." Like, it was very much like Aries kind of vibes in that way.
So annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. So she'd, like, go to the obedience, and then when it's like, "Oh, I think, now I'm actually in trouble," then I'll just, like, flip over on my belly, and then dad will
Yeah.
melt because he loves her, and, so it's like
Mhm.
it was more of that thing, that I think was, like, underpinning most of the issues, to be honest. Like, that almost feels a little bit of too simplistic of an answer, but, like, she's otherwise a really, really
Mhm.
nice dog. And, like, they've done a lot of other, like, really good stuff with her. So yeah, so, like, that, like, for me, then I'm like, this is almost too easy, and feels too simplistic because she doesn't have, like, the prey drive is for sure real. Like, she definitely does have it out for the cat. But, like, there was another issue where she was, like, biting and destroying the tires on, uh, I don't know what they're called, but they're the cars that kids can ride in, like, around
Mhm.
the lawn, like, not an RV car or a RC car, but, RV car, but, like, those battery operated cars, whatever
Yep.
they are. So she'd, like, herd and bite the tires and shred them. It's like, replaced so many fucking tires on this thing, um, and punished once for nipping for that, and, like, she wasn't even, again, like, already you could see she's like, "Okay, I have some breaks on my behavior and some thought about letting herself get into that state of arousal." And she like barely did it. Like it took like 5 minutes for her to finally spool up enough where she actually wanted to go bite the tire. Otherwise, she was just like casually following the girls around. And I'm like, that's fine. But yeah, like anyway, just it's interesting to see like that stuff does translate. I had not done anything about tire biting, but the dog realizing these are the parameters around my behavior and sort of like generalizing what's appropriate and inappropriate. It's just like interesting to see that process. But that's also, even as I'm saying that, I'm like, that sounds like you could get yourself in trouble with that a little bit too.
Using it
If you
as
make
an
too
as
many
an
assumptions
excuse
about
to
that.
not yeah.
But
But
yeah.
I think that people, like, a lot of trainers go the other direction where they wanna make every individual thing and circumstance its own problem and, like, setup.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
How about the dog just knows that, like, around the house, you just, like, don't act like that?
Correct. Correct.
I get
Yes.
so many questions about that, dude, like, how like, do you command your dog like, what's your command for having your dogs be calm in the house? It's like, "What? What are you talking
When
about?"
we're in the house, there's a certain set of behaviors that are expected. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't and I'm not trying to be annoying. I just don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, like, again, even as I'm saying that, I think what can kind of be taken away from that is people getting this impression that, like, I'm constantly punishing dogs for a bunch
Right,
of random bullshit. And it's like,
right,
no, I've had to punish her in play for blowing
right,
off a recall as she's chasing the toy. Like,
right,
that's it. I
right.
haven't found anything else.
And what's crazy is too that dogs can narrow down the context so clearly.
Yes.
They have these windows where they know, "Hey, we can play with each other and
Yes.
have a good time."
Yep.
But then they know to stop.
Yep.
And, like, if it got excessive, "Guys, come on." And they just stop. Like, um, and then they know when we're outside, now there's, like, a total different, and also too, like, this is, man, another video from another big time. What's that page called, dude? I got it. I'm about to hit unfollow. He seems like a really nice dude. Say it, dog. Say it once, dog training, or is it say
Okay.
it,
Yeah. I don't know.
whatever? Really like huge. I'm not gonna look it up, but we're doing another conversation about when you pick up your leash, your dog gets excited. You need to wait on place until you can go walk until the dog calms down. It's like, dude, what if you just like show the dog that you can be excited to go outside, but when we're on leash on the street, this is not a free for all. And you don't have to like maintain that. The dogs just like figure it out. It's like this is the mission. The mission of this type of outing is X. The mission of that type of outing is Y. It's like, oh, look, dad's grabbing the soccer ball and we're going to the soccer field. This is likely to be when we're going fucking nuts. It's like, okay, dad's grabbing the retractable leash and we're going out onto the sidewalk and he's walking at a normal pace. This is not soccer time. Like they figure that out on their own, dude. If you're
Yep.
just
And like, why
clear.
is it a problem for the dog to be excited?
Right. That's another one. It's like the dude's like literally, well, you cannot go on this walk right now. Like you have to we have to like heel around the living room quietly, put the dog on place, and just wait for him to. It's like, no, dude, like that's like my dogs will get fucking amped to go do something. And then when they realize this is calm time, they're still happy and they just chill on their own. Like
Mhm.
who is having these problems? Like I don't understand.
Again, if
And
it's like the problem is the dog is jumping on the door, address that. But
right. It's just yeah, like
yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I think it just that general, like, because it's always the advice, right? Like if your dog is worked up, get them calm down with obedience or place commands or to double down or whatever. And it's
Right.
like you're
Yeah, it's say it once.
still
It's say it once that it
okay.
is.
So your pet owner, like, just imagine this, right? Your pet owner picks up the leash, take their dog out to potty before they go to work. They're kind of in a rush. are they actually going to get to the point with their obedience where the dog is understanding that it needs to lock in there and like forget about the walk, which like I want to circle back to that because of course the dog is not forgetting about the walk. Like even if you do this technique like properly, that there is still a chain of classical conditioning
Right.
that you are not going to get a dog owner to not do, right? So like if we wanted to go this strategy, you would actually want to make a dissociation between picking up the leash and going outside. So you would go pick up the leash, sit down on the couch, don't go out for a walk. And then
Yeah.
when you do want to go out for a walk, you go, hey, let's go for a walk, or whatever cue that you're
No,
okay with the dog getting excited about.
he's made that video a few times.
Okay, right. But like who's gonna fucking do that?
Who's doing
Like
it? Well, okay, so your first like
very few people.
the first
Yeah.
comment on here is after the 3 to 5 minute training session and you start going outside and the dog gets excited again, do you put them back in place for another 3 to 5 minutes? Dude, it's doing this.
Yep. Yep.
It's like
And like so it's funny, right? Is that so we do this shit all the time with like decoy neutrality in sport work. Is the idea that like you have to go through this play or exercise, like whatever engagement with the handler. And once you are committed to that, then I will allow you to go bite. But there's a very subtle difference. You see this happen a lot where the dog will still be conflicted in its mind, thinking that it's an option to come out of healing or come off the toy that you're playing with or whatever it is, but that they can just dip and go bite the decoy. And you will see a certain level of split mind and lack of attention from the dog when they still believe that biting the helper or the decoy
it's on the table.
is an option when they are playing or healing or whatever. You can, through really good timing and just essentially extinction and enough repetitions, get the dog to understand that like that's never going to happen.
Never
You have to
happens.
just wait for Simon to say,
Yeah.
and that will go away. But the easiest and most effective way to actually clarify for that for the dog is let the dog come off the
Let 'em
toy
go.
and go bite and go, hey, bad dog, punish, back into play, not punish back into play, but you know what I mean. And you will see immediately the dog goes, oh, I need to let go of that over there and give single-minded focus to this.
Mhm.
And the cue will come when it comes, the bell will ring, and I'll get to go over there. But what happens with these types of drills is because we're not actually being clear about like, hey, what we're doing is trying to get extremely tight control over opportunities for a certain state of arousal. Because we're not explicitly saying that, we're telling people just do obedience drills. What's going to happen is the dog is just going to go, all right, I'm going to do these things, but like still be glancing at the door, glancing at the door, glancing at the door. You start healing up to the door, and the dog will just figure out to stay behind that line of, heal up to the door, sit nicely. And then owner says, okay. And the dog still explodes out the door. Like there's still a moment where, like, yes, you've negatively reinforced them to obedience, but you're not actually going to change the state of the arousal with that, or the state of arousal with that, because you're always going to go negative reinforcement into obedience, release into high state of arousal, like that classical conditioning, like that's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like you're not actually, and again, this is saying like, assuming that getting excited outside of the cue to get excited is the problem, which I don't even think that that's necessarily a problem that's worth picking on in this
Let's say it
particular
was.
situation. I think there's other places it's worth picking on, but like you're not actually going to fix that. Like the way you fix that is to go,
No.
hey, let your state of arousal get you to this point that causes you to make a mistake, punish that mistake, and then the dog will bother to control their state of arousal.
Yeah.
Like the stupid analogy I use for people a lot is there's this experiment that it's like a classic psychology experiment where they were testing delayed gratification or capability for delayed gratification in young kids. So like they put say like a 7-year-old in a room and put a marshmallow on the plate in front of him and said, "Hey, if you don't eat this marshmallow, we'll give you another one in 5 minutes." So they leave the room. It's like hidden camera, right? And you can see the kids like sitting on their hands, turning away from the marshmallow, like doing all of these self-regulation activities and like coping, like I'm not gonna look at it so that I don't let myself get spooled up, right? And like you see dogs start to do this too. But
Right.
like point being, and it's not punishment, right? But like the idea of there's a penalty if you allow your arousal to get you to the point where you must eat that marshmallow. Like if you allow yourself to get to that state of mind, you don't get a second one. And like that was enough of a threat of negative punishment for again humans. We
Mhm.
can do that with language, but that caused them to control their level of arousal, and some of them very effectively, some of them not as effectively because it's a 7-year-old kid, right? Um but like that's the work with the dogs as well. If we just like if you don't make that clarity, the dog is never going to make the choice to engage in activities that help him to stay in the correct state of arousal. Did all of that make sense? Like, did I close the
Yeah.
loop on that?
Well,
Like, it makes sense to me, but
ultimately, what you're hitting on is what so much pet dog training does, which is creates these endless chains
yes,
to avoid telling the dog no.
correct.
Ultimately, that's what everyone's doing basically at all times. And it's extremely fucking frustrating to watch.
Yep.
If you just it's like you're saying, if you just make it so that there's no reason to go there, then why do I go there?
Uh-huh.
Why,
Like, I'm
why
trying to think of an analogy with the marshmallow, right? Like, imagine if as the kid reached for the marshmallow, you like slapped his hand,
yeah.
right? And then he's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I take it away, I take it away." But like it becomes a game where he's like, "Maybe I can still get that marshmallow." Because you see dogs do this with the leash and with obedience all the time. They're like, you get close enough to the thing and they're like, "Oh, there's enough slack in the leash, I can make it."
Yeah.
And then they rush for it. And it's like, you can see that they're stuck in that game and they're like spooling themselves up. Like that kid would then start spooling himself up to be like, I need
Mhm.
to be really, really, really fast. And so he's going to put himself in a higher state of arousal so that he can be really fast and go grab that marshmallow. Like that's what people end up accidentally doing and making
Right.
it worse because now you're just stacking super fun and thrilling negative
Yeah.
reinforcement on top
Yeah.
of a release to a very
Well,
high
that
adrenaline
that
reward,
requires
right? Which is
that
freedom for the
requires
dog.
being able to think of the dog's perception. So that was another huge level up training behavior moment that I had was that when I realized that any of these weird pent up or otherwise like opportunistic explosive behaviors are due to a lack of clarity basically on
Correct.
its own. Obviously there's like genetic shit and stuff like that. We were talking about like
Yes.
Pavlovian
Yes.
misbehaviors a little bit earlier where it's like you're talking about your dog with the just maybe not like outing cleanly consistently fast every single time may literally just be against his nature, right? So like there absolutely can be like a really game pit bull that like there is always like a twitch, right? But if we're talking about the most like 99.9% of situations, it's like if this dog is in the down shaking, it's because he thinks that there's something he could be doing instead, right? Like there's something else that there's not a clear understanding. I'm just supposed to do this and wait. Because if the dog understands that, then they know they're not going, there's no chance to go do something else. Then the shaking and the whimpering become obsolete. Like the reason for those things existing disappears. Um, so yeah, but like you were saying, it's like why you can even just get rid of all this. It's like why is it bad for your dog to be happy to walk out the door with you?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah.
it's like if you were that concerned, it's like okay, pick a thing. It's like, does he jump at the door? It's like you could punish that.
Right. Right.
Or it's just
And I
like
think the reason this becomes an issue is that dogs pester their owners to go outside.
right.
And then people go, oh, the problem is the excitement at going outside. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, no, no.
Right.
The problem is your dog pushing the button and having control of pushing the button to get you to go get the leash to
Right.
solve that. And then your problem goes away. Then
Right.
he only gets excited when you say, hey, Pop, let's go outside. And then he gets up and he starts dancing around. But like, if you control the bell to go outside for recess, you don't have a
Yes.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to try to like convince the elementary school kids that they're not excited about kickball.
Correct.
Why would you do that? And then that
Ridiculous.
it becomes sort of like morally gross. It's like, why are you even trying to do that? Why do we need life to be gray? Why not, dude, be fucking gassed up to go out with dad right now? That's cool. It's sick. That is again, like, it's so fundamental in the behavioral mod sort of like blueprint project that I'm going to do. That is an essential piece for me at the very beginning, demonstrating it's like back to the clarity of intentions, TWC, but like the way that I interpret it, one of the dimensions of it that's really important is making sure that the dog sees you as an enabler and a cooperator instead of a restrictor.
Yep.
People just trainers just make themselves the restrictor. Like immediately it's like don't. And all of these.
What's so hard about, like, as we're talking, I'm talking so much about punishment. Like with Briar, I was like, what changed her life was me punishing her. And that sounds like I'm nailing her left and right for everything. But I'm like, it was literally like
one thing. Yeah.
Two things. Like jumping up on the counters was one of them. It was just like kind of bullshit. And then non-compliance and obedience. That was it.
But imagine for a second, okay? Imagine for a second. Like I'm not trying to pick on these people, but it's like, what dog do I want to pick? I almost said something I shouldn't have said. Let's say like Mongoon, okay? It's like Mongoon comes in and he wants to kill himself. I don't know if YouTube's going to flag this now. He wants to commit honorable seppuku. And he's like depressed and everything. And then the first day, like we'll say it's like the first day of the second week, I put his leash on and he runs the door excited, like, dude, let's go outside. Imagine me like
I'm just having a problem with that.
having a problem. Like that would be, it's like, no, dude, I'm actually gonna try to make him more obnoxious at the door. I'm not even joking. It's like, oh, dude, you want to tap dance? I'm gonna fucking tap dance with you. Let's do it. You want to hit me? Hit me. Like that's cool. So it's again, that's a place where I'm not trying to shame him for an expression. I'm actually showing, and not only am I not shaming him, I'm not staying neutral. I'm getting involved, like instigating it. Fuck yeah, dude. I think you're cool. That's cool. Well, that's a dimension of your mind and your personality you haven't used maybe ever. It's like, let's do it. More. That is just so different than this whole like everything needs to be sterile and
a little bit of a topic shift, but I was thinking about this morning, just about the whole like staying neutral when you're delivering punishment and stuff like that. I think one of the things I kind of realized, there's like benefits that we've talked about before, just in like, clearly showing a dog your disappointment, like yada yada, like all the reasons that emotion is a good tool to learn to leverage in dog training. But the other thing I was thinking is like, if you punish unemotionally, hopefully you're still marking it. However, we know that body language tends to be a stronger signal. And just like people aren't, even me, like I'm not as clear with my markers as I'd like to be in yada yada. If neutral body language is the antecedent to a hefty punishment event, do you know how people will be like, when you swatted Breeze on the nose, they're like, oh, you're going to get a hand shy dog now?
Yeah. I see where you're going.
You know why you're not?
Yeah.
is because there's all of the stuff that goes with it. Like, you
100%.
only get swatted on the nose when dad looks like he's upset with you.
Right.
Versus if you get a random nose swat when you had no idea, like you hear no and then a nose swat, now you're probably more likely
Oh,
to get a hand shy
yeah.
dog
Yeah.
because you go, hey, buddy, in the same tone of voice or whatever, right? Like, again, like we're just less clear with our language. Um, Now you have potentially some generalization from the dog on what the antecedent to bad shit happening is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anyway, I was just like, that's kind of a
Clarity.
funny thought, right? That like the conglomerate of how I act to the dog during certain emotional states for both of us, like adds to the clarity.
Yeah.
I know
But
that's kind of a duh statement, but I was just
no,
like,
it's
oh,
not.
that's
It's
like,
not because it's different. It's different than just being
yeah,
emotionally clear. You're actually talking about contributing to constructing the antecedent. So it
correct,
is
correct.
actually like visually. It's so that we're even going off to take the emotions away in a way. It's
Correct.
like
Like, it could be anything. Yeah, it could
right.
just be, like, adding more layers of classically conditioned cues to differentiate it from
It could literally be I go smack, right? And it's just that you're doing it, you're accomplishing this while you're also delivering the clear emotion.
right,
You're
right,
also
and
doing
there's, like,
snap.
10 different cues. It's like
Right.
snap, clap your hands, rub your you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like 10
Right.
different things stacked on top of each other that's
Yeah.
so obvious to the dog. Because I also do this in my reward events. Like, the other side is that when we're in play mode with my dogs, when we're going out and doing competitive obedience, but whatever, I show a neutral picture when I want obedience commands. So, like, that's just it's
Yeah.
part of the sport rules, right? Like trial pictures that you eventually want to be able to show the dog a neutral picture that becomes a precursor for healing, for asking for a front, whatever it is. But then when I play, I give my marker, but then I also completely break out of that robotic militant picture
Right.
and go have fun with my dog. Like,
There's no
even
mistaking it. There's
you're
zero.
right. Like, even when I'm still in play, I'm still because I'm stalking or I'm like
Right.
slowly going to reach or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then when it's obedience, it's a very particular picture that I'm showing my dog. And it's a lot of times where people have issues is that in training, they will stay sort of loose and playful as they're asking for their obedience, which in and of itself is not incorrect. But then on the day of trial, when you're super nervous and uptight and you're like, have a stick up your ass, the
Yeah.
dog is like, I have never seen this before in my life. And like, they know what foos means, but the picture that you're presenting on top of that verbal cue is completely incongruent to anything I've ever seen. And a
Mhm.
lot of dogs will just be like, oh, I guess we're not doing obedience because like you said it, but like the rest of this picture does not match it at all. So anyways, it's like the flip side of that is like with punishment, I want it to be extremely obvious to my dog, like this is the picture we're in.
Yeah.
And then also you can mark it, have a little bit of delay before you actually deliver the aversive. And I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. As long as you're staying in the vibe of like, hey, you're in trouble, you can have a decently long delay between your mark and your actual delivery of the aversive.
So if you took the Diaz files where he's like reaching towards the dog, making her snap and then tapping her, the way that he's reaching and the way he's reacting, if you removed all of the garbage, looks like someone going to pet a dog.
Absolutely.
It
It's a
looks
very dangerous
identical.
antecedent to put in place. Yep.
So you would absolutely not be surprised if this dog saw someone reached and like was like, "Holy shit, I'm about to die," or "I need to attack."
Yep.
Yeah, that it's so insane. Like it's just so. I'm not saying it's duh because you said it because it's important that people hear this type of thing, and I actually haven't thought of it as clearly as you just laid
From
it
that
out.
angle. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is really just that simple, and it's like I I'm turning into sort of the ongoing mythology that's permeating the culture now is that I am just like the dog smack guy, which fine. But I've never had a hand shy dog. Literally ever. Like I'm talking about not a single time have I ever gone like this to a dog and they flinched after I've smacked them. It's never fucking happened because they knew why it happened and what it looks like. There's no mistaking it. And like you were saying, it's like the emotion, the delivery makes it clear. NTA 30, that's crazy, 30 episodes. We haven't missed a week.
No.
It's kind of crazy.
Been late on a couple weeks, but it happens.
Scout and Max, or whoever it is, someone's shitting their pants right underneath.
No.
We
can keep this one a little bit shorter today. Since we're a little bit late on the episode.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I'm just like scheduling too many dogs. I've got a lot of like weekend warriors coming up. Meeting up with that Akita in a few weekends. I don't know if I talked about him. Paul from Quebec.
I think you mentioned him.
His mom died when he was 2 weeks old.
Oh wow.
That's when they adopted him. And they sent me they're great. They sent me like a Google Drive and they're just updating it with videos. It's like putting a collar on Paul, putting Paul in his crate, fucking, this and that. And he is just like beating the dog shit out of these people. But it's all very like just like, no, make me. And they're having huge reactions. It's like watching boxing or MMA. One of the worst signs possible for a fighter is when they get hit with a jab and they have a huge reaction. It's like, oh shit, like his spirit's broken, like something's wrong. They're having these gigantic like get away from me reactions by the dog, like kind of like mouthing their hands. So it's like on one hand, it's I do think that he has some sort of demonic forces within him because he has bitten them like legit, but most of it is just bullshit. So he's gonna end up being a board and train because I think that they're past the point of being able to handle him. But I thought that the thing about him,
if they're scared of him, it's
adopted at 2 weeks is interesting. Like wondering what kind of impact that could have development.
Was he a singleton then?
No, and they know someone that has a sister, and she's the same way.
Did they separate the entire litter at 2 weeks then?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah, it's the whole thing sounds
like a 2-week-old puppy is not like how to say it would be difficult for an average pet owner to keep a 2-week-old puppy alive. Like this is really interesting.
I do wonder if they mean that they like were meeting up with him and stuff. Like I don't think they must not have taken him home. But he at minimum, I do like we've been through like the preliminary talks and I'm gonna grill the fuck out of them when they're here. Not like aggressively, but get as much information as I can. It's more likely that they mean, now that you mentioned it, like the dog's mother died at 2 weeks.
Right.
And he was
separated. Breeder, well, probably I don't know if it was a breeder, but like like it would make sense if it was an oops litter and like that they had and mom passed away and they're like, oh, we had him at 2 weeks, but like meaning that
I don't know that actually could be possible. I just don't know enough. We're very early. It's just like I saw that it was an Akita and I was like, this is gonna be cool. Like we need to try. But we haven't like set anything in stone yet. So I'll get more. There's a lot more information gathering to happen.
Yeah. I do think like it is interesting. You will see and I haven't seen a ton of this, just I don't have a big enough sample size, but I definitely have heard people say that like singletons and or puppies that are separated too young, like definitely don't. It's like an under socialization thing, right? Like they don't have inhibition around like bite pressure or like their communication is a little weird and like just shit like that. So I'm sure it is a factor. It's just like,
and sometimes
I'm just like, wow, that's a wild story if they actually because like the puppies don't start walking until like
they're helpless. They're helpless. So I do
like at
wonder
2 weeks old, it's a potato that needs fed around the clock. So
on camera, sometimes things are deceiving in terms of like bite pressure.
Yeah,
because like I'm watching it, I'm like, he's just like being a wise guy. But maybe part of their reactions is that he's actually like, if I was seeing it up close, he's actually biting really fucking hard. It is possible, and he's a big dog. He's like 80 something pounds. So I haven't had one of these what's their like breed subgroup, like what
I think they're like Spitz, kind of.
Yeah, I've never.
I don't know for sure.
My recollection, I've never had one of these dogs in for any substantial training.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had an Akita, to be honest.
He's like a big dude, so that'll be fun. He's 9 months old, and he like
Oh, he's only 9 months old. That's right.
he attacked the owner's feet when she was getting out of her bed, and she said it was like legit. Again, like the potential here, he was playing.
Right. So that's the interesting thing, though, about like puppies that have, again, singleton, separated to young, whatever. Like they've never, even in play, they tend to be off just because they've never gotten the feedback of like, hey, you're biting too hard, and now we're not going to play anymore. Like.
Interesting.
Yeah, they don't even have to be like ill-intentioned. They just literally don't know. It's like a kid, throws a toy at another kid without realizing that can hurt them. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of developmental stuff.
Like a strong retarded kid. Just like punching another kid in the face, and it's like, why? What's wrong, dude?
We were having fun. Yeah. Like, I suppose you could say that. Yes.
That'll be cool. And I keep doing this thing. I schedule like weekend warriors really far out, and then this thing happens where the date comes.
You're like, damn it.
I'm like, oh wait, I am actually just training dogs every fucking day. And when you've got like boarding dogs,
do you have someone in town this weekend?
This weekend, I am going to my dad's cabin in Old Forge with the family, and I have to bring 3 fucking dogs. I am thinking of taking Mongoon into Old Forge, which is like very much like a tourist destination. I might sneak out one morning while everyone's asleep and go out and take him into town and see what happens. But then it's the weekends after that. It's like every weekend for like 3 weekends. It's people coming from out of state. Paul's out of country. Saturday and Sunday, typically 2 lessons, and they're long, like 2-hour, 2.5-hour lessons a lot of the time. And it's just, man, it's like you get done with that, and it's like my board and train. It's like already at home, like oh fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
But Dylan only trains shelter dog. That was like a Will Bangura was talking about me the other day, I guess. And his cope was like, well, this guy thinks he's great. He only trains shelter dogs, and the only reason the dogs look better is because they're happy to be out of the shelter. It's like, I don't even know what I would say to that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's interesting having a reputation as a shelter guy. It's interesting, but it's just not true.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I go to a shelter like 3 times a month. Like, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Maybe your shelter workshop had something to do with it.
Yeah, maybe they all watched it. But last thing on that, and maybe we can close out the show. The next step, it's awesome that Will Bangura is getting a lot of airtime and people are freaking out about how retarded he is. The next step, what comes next is everyone quietly realizing they're all like that. It's like, wait, my like online force-free friend is actually just Will Bangura, just with like a more appropriate chromosome count, and like can kind of have a conversation. But they're like all the same. Like ideologically, they're like all
correct. Yeah, Will's fucking unhinged a little bit more.
He just can't hide
like
it.
In terms of like the whole idea of like, start with the slow moving squirrel.
Like where?
like
they agree though, Kim. They all agree. We're like seeing that, and it's like on a personality level.
He makes it sound ridiculous because it's him, but like that is
actually it. Like that's actually what they're like. Yeah, of course, dude. You yeah. Oh my god.
So funny.
Yeah, they're all like that. I wonder when he's going to get his invite to the IACP.
Yeah, pretty soon, probably. After that podcast.
Interesting stuff about the executive director, Jess Ocon. I told you off off show that she had her 10-year-old dog put down. Allegedly. All right. I mean, she put up a reel about it. I still have to do more dissecting with, but she, what is with these people and killing their own dogs? What the fuck? It's like every time I get into it with somebody, it's like, oh, you killed your dog. Allegedly, okay, allegedly, she couldn't control. She adopted a new dog. Her old dog and her new dog were getting into like spats. She couldn't do anything about it, so she killed her older dog, which to me is gross. It's like, dude, that dog's been a rider for a decade, and you're gonna kill her.
It's wild.
Control her and the new dog. That just seems odd to me. Again, this is all alleged, but hey, I have it on good authority. Maybe one day I'll have to release the Ocon dossier. Right? She fucking sucks, dude. She sucks. Executive director of the IACP. Anything else? You got anything else?
I don't know.
Hi, Ferret.
I think that's about it.
I've got to decide if I want to nap or if I want to go train. I think I got to go train.
Yeah.
Quick shout out. I'm at my son's T-ball game this morning, and my 3-year-old son's watching, and we're getting accosted by this old lady that just wants to talk for some reason. And it's like, she seems nice, but it's like, we're not interested. And the game's almost over, and my son Carter turns to me and he goes, "We're going home?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, points at the lady. She's not looking. "He's not going home, right?" No. He called her a he, but he was like, "He's not coming home, right?" No, you're okay. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
No. Yeah, so give you guys updates. Next time we can talk about my Dalmatian that I just got started with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Video up on Patreon. Full private lesson, hour-long, unedited, up on Patreon.
Yeah, I got to catch up.
Ryder, the anxious Dalmatian, he's chewing his feet, like ripping his feet up. It's actually really sad. But it's a really good lesson if you're interested in seeing how I interact with clients like right out of the gate on a first lesson and the homework that I give and stuff. Yeah, day-to-day dog training on Patreon. It is the best dog training Patreon. It's not even close in my opinion. That's the shill segment. All right. On that note, I want to leave on the most important part. Into the car they go, and they're very happy there. All right, guys.
All right, we'll catch you guys later.